Hey everyone, I know a lot of you have been waiting to hear my thoughts on the K45 reveal, but I wanted to take a few days to mull it over first. It was not an unexpected reveal. I think it was only a couple weeks ago that I predicted it would be released shortly, and it turns out that I was right. I really wish I hadn't been though. It's another bad move in a series of bad moves made by the developer, and I don't think I need to tell you that. The downranking of the announcement mail says it all. In this video, I'm going to do a very general overview of the changes highlighted in the mail, but I plan to do more in-depth informational videos over the next couple weeks to dissect a lot of this. I'll give some preliminary thoughts on the changes and try to look at it as unbiased to the changes as possible to give you a more grounded perspective of what to expect. However, fair warning that while I will try to be unbiased, I'll flatly say beforehand that these changes in general will only exacerbate existing issues. Before we get started, a quick thank you to APTOIDE for sponsoring this video. If you plan to spend on this game, I highly recommend using APTOIDE as your means of doing so. It's region free and gets you excellent cash back. You can get even more permanent cash back by using the miser code as detailed in the video description. Check it out if you haven't. Let's start with the biggest and most obvious change, Keep 45. The maximum keep level, which was previously 40, has now been raised to 45. Stepping out of a player's perspective, adding more content is generally a good thing. It's nice to have something to strive for, but even from that outside perspective, it seems like a really odd development decision. Very little of the player base have actually achieved Keep 40 due to the exorbitant cost of buildings. I've never before seen a game release an expansion before the vast majority of players even get a taste of the current build of a game. I find that really weird. Furthermore, upgrading the keep will again see further gate-locked, gear-based requirements limiting growth of free-to-play players and low-spending accounts. Getting Keep 41, for instance, requires not only heaps of resources, but also Victory Column 5. There's a new building called the Council of State where you can place generals in Senate positions to provide troop buffs. You'll be able to assign more generals to the Senate as you raise the building level of the Council of State. This building I actually find interesting. For the most part, I think it's a good addition to the game. It definitely benefits spenders more as the benefits for having ascended generals in Senate positions are much greater. The downside here is that it's an obvious method to get players to ascend as many generals as possible and get those extra buffs. It's a cool building idea, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a source of frustration for many players as they try to ascend generals to fill the many Senate positions. Tier 16 troops are now a thing. Yep. Tier 16 is out before 99% of players have even unlocked Tier 15. Yikes. That's not a good thing for anyone, but those are the very top. There are 2 additional subordinate city slots which are based on VIP. One unlocks at VIP 15 and the other at VIP 18. If you check your subordinate city list, you'll probably have an extra sub slot or 2 now. Extra subs means more debuffs and defensive buffs from Academy technology. This makes defense a bit more powerful, but it also makes really strong solo attacks even more powerful. Another new feature in the game is the Ideal Land Area, which is an interior zone unique to you that has a taste of Farmville to it. I'm going to talk about this one in a lot of detail in an upcoming video as I'll be able to provide a lot of context on what to expect. Not all of you may be aware that this is another of the many features the Evony developers saw in other similar games and decided to implement into their own. It's a variation of a monetization feature that functions like a trophy case to provide troop buffs. However, the means of getting those trophies is largely through spending. The Military Academy and Academy have additional research trees that provide further offensive and defensive buffs. Interestingly, the new Defense Advanced tree that now inhabits the Academy does not require upgrading your Academy beyond 35. I can honestly say I didn't expect not to have to upgrade the Academy, which is a pleasant surprise. Between the extra subs and the Defense Advanced tree, it seems the developers at least recognize that it has become increasingly hard to defend in this game, which can make PvP quite lopsided in favor of attackers. The defensive buffs in this tree are all percentage based, which has led some to wonder about the future of Tier 1 defense, but I don't think that this will change the meta. It will make upper tiers a bit better at defending, but it doesn't eliminate the efficacy of billions of Tier 1 troops. There's a new level of traps. Same thing, really. Some spirit beasts have new features called seals and innate skills. This appears to essentially be ascension for spirit beasts. Upgrading the beasts increases their normal attributes, and as they upgrade to meet the innate skill requirements, they will receive further buffs. Dragons receive a buff as well through their talent awakening, which is no longer capped at 40. The section called Event Optimization is something like inflation. Since this is new content, packages and updates now provide more than they used to. A few events like Garuda and Undead Invasion receive some modifications as well. It'll be interesting to see how difficult hard mode Undead Invasion really is. There are new bosses and new resource spots to go with the major update. Unfortunately, there's no mention that fragments of civilization gear will drop. That's the only real change that could have added some competitiveness to this game. So it's more than unfortunate that it wasn't added once again. There's a mention of the action priority of Tier 15 and Tier 16 siege machines. I'm not entirely sure what the repercussions of that will be, so I hesitate in making any claims before really seeing what it looks like. That's about all for this update. It's a lot. As I said, there are pieces in here that need a lot more breaking down, so I'll be deep diving into several of these topics in the coming videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting the channel. If you liked what you saw, please consider hitting the like button and checking out other videos on the Miser's Guide to Evony. I'll see you in the next video.